Hi, Jez here again from Xodis in the UK. One of the great parts of coming to Ecotech is Jay can take me around and show me what's going on and what's new. And we've got the new Vectra Gen 2s here, and Jay's just going to give us a quick run through some of the new aspects of them, I suppose.
Yeah, and here we are. This is actually the Vectra line, or part of it anywhere, where we do the assembly and the boxing, etc. of the Vectra pump. And this is our version 2, so the Vectra's been out for a while now. There's been a number of changes that have occurred throughout the life, and we've learned a lot from the pump. So some of those are incorporate in the Gen 2 and were part of the Gen 1, but then there's also a couple new things. The main difference is we've simplified the plumbing and connectivity in terms of the couplings, and we'll take a look at that in the box. So getting into the box, we'll take a look at what's in there, and this is true of all the Vectra lineup. Power supply, we've got the driver. This is where the brains and the reason that Vectra pumps are so quiet. Then we have the pump itself. So here we have a S2. Got the wires here, and I'll let you hold this, Jez.
You're going to show us how the couplings work,
and then also, obviously, yeah, we'll show you the couplings. Here's the setup guide. I believe you still get 2 free issues of Coral Magazine if you purchase an Ecotech product. Power supply, this would be UK, in the UK, and then you have a driver bracket. Looking at the pump, you'll notice there's a couple changes, and this is some of the most important stuff between the version 1 and version 2 is we've gone to a more ergonomic, more stable base, and then the couplers themselves. So the threaded screws are larger, a little easier to work with, and then we have actually changed the interior diameter and exterior diameter of the quick connects so that now they work with standard fittings, which I believe is beneficial to the UK and the US. Right.
Yeah, so we've always, it's all metric pipe in the UK, so these are going to work a lot easier for people.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously the previous ones worked, but sometimes you'd have to do a little sanding or filing to get them to fit flush. Now they should just slot right in there, and then you obviously have the threaded coupler as well if you wanted to go that route. As of right now, we do not have all of the accessory kits that were available on the version 1 pumps, but they will be available shortly. And specs and pricing are exactly the same. I believe that's true in the UK as well.
And that's exactly right, yep.
So, looks a little different, but it's the same great pump. I think one of the best selling features of it, at least in my experience as a hobbyist, is actually how quiet they are.
Yeah, and that's what we hear from customers. Yeah, it's quiet. It does what it says on the box.
Yeah, so quiet and very reliable in terms of head pressure, operational, and fully adjustable and configurable as well for your specific setup. So there you have it. There is the Vectra 2, and there's the S2, the M2, and the
big one, the L2.
The big one, the L2.
And the good news for UK customers is they wouldn't allow me to make one. So Jay, where are we now?
Okay, Jez, here we are. Actually, this is some of our production setup. We produce pretty much all of our equipment here in Bethlehem, Allentown for Ecotech. And when I say produce, I mean really make most of the components or the high value components like the circuit boards and everything else. And then the rest of it is built and quality checked right here, tested on our lines. I think in the background there you can see they're making Radeon lights right now. And that would change to Vortex, Vectras, Reflinks, depending on what it is that's being produced that day.
Right, really cool. That's great.
Yeah. So let's go. We can. The other thing I'd like to show you is the SMT room where we actually make the circuit boards.
This is the exciting bit. I'm standing next to an SMT machine.
Yeah. So this is where we produce the drivers for all of our different equipment, as well as like the LED clusters, things of that nature. And what you have is a kind of a linear series of machines which do everything from put down the solder paste to what we have here is a high-speed pick-and-place machine, which takes all the tiny little components puts them on all the circuit boards, and from there they will go through, have larger components added, and then go through the, I call it the pizza oven, but it's basically a sequential oven that lets everything stick to the boards.
That moves at some speed.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, and you know, we can run this pretty much every day, 7 days a week. Well, we don't, but we could run it all day for several shifts, and it's as easy as switching out these banks of materials, changing the program to produce the different driver boards that we make.
Right. It's just fast. It's amazing. It just whizzes around. So for the next part of my tour, I'm in Jay's office, having a look at his reef tank, which is looking pretty good. One of the things I like when I come to Ecotech is that pretty much as you walk around the building, everyone's a reef keeper. And I think that's pretty much where the company started, with the owners.
Yep, that's true. Actually, Tim and Justin were working together on a calcium reactor way back in college, which is one product which never really made it to market. But yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's something that, you know, we take a lot of pride in, is that we use everything. And all the new equipment as well as all the existing equipment is here. It's being run on my tank. This is actually my new tank. I had an SR80, so a smaller tank before, and upgraded, and great opportunity to indulge in my favorite part of the hobby, which is growing coral from frags into colonies. So
You got a beautiful collection, I have to say.
I do. We're a little spoiled, namely thanks to our friends down in Orlando, but Worldwide and Living Reef and Top Shelf, those guys all have fantastic
Help
corals.
with your addiction.
Exactly.
No, it's great to see it. It's great.
And actually, that was one of the things we can show you is you know, a bit of a sneak peek of the new interface, which is Mobius.
Right.
And there'll be more of that on the experts program. But basically, the best piece of news and the best piece of information I can give you about it is that hopefully it will do away with your reef link, particularly in your store. Allow you to go direct to control of lights. But here, I'll let you have a play, and you can take it from there.
Okay, lovely. That's my excited face, by the way. Well.